Hi everybody, wherever you're viewing this, my name's Mike Garner from MrMikeGarner.com and I'm coming to you making a brew. Kettle's on, let's have a chat. At the moment, with what's going on in the world, it's quite difficult to make sense of it. But the fact of the matter is for the last 30 years I've been trying to make sense of the world even before COVID, even before the restrictions and the virus and the pandemic. And there's been lots of situations that have challenged me to understand really what's going on in society. And it all comes down to this, in my opinion, because I've been working with energy and consciousness for about 40 years. I started off in martial arts, then I went into healing arts, then I went into consciousness and energy, and they're all connected. You can't get away from the fact that you live a life in your head, and quite often your life does your head in. You live a thought life. And all the time when you're looking at something and experiencing something, you're making decisions on what you're looking at, what you're hearing, what you're tasting, what you're feeling, what you're smelling. We have five senses: touch, taste, sight, sound and smell, and all the time we're getting this sensory information, this feedback from what we consider to be out there, and we're making decisions in here. At the moment you'll be making decisions about what you're going to do at Christmas, because I'm making this on the 20th of December 2020 and the rules in the UK have just changed, even though I'm living in Thailand. And trust me, things in Thailand are changing very, very quickly. Thailand hasn't reported the COVID cases, anything like what's been going on in the West. Now there's lots of reasons for that, but I won't go into the politics of that. The whole reporting of COVID and the situation is something which is separate to what I want to talk about, because it's all an illusion anyway. Everything is an illusion. Everything is just feedback that you get through your nervous system, through what we call our senses, and we've got to make sense of it. It's quite difficult. What I want you to understand as I'm talking to you making this brew is that the world as you see it isn't what you've been told. I'm going to be saying some quite heavy things, but if you check back on the other things that I've said on YouTube or Vimeo or Instagram or TikTok or any of my other platforms, Facebook particularly, but I've actually been knocked off there at the moment. Two reasons. One is I supposedly, from my comments, broke community standards, and also I've been hacked. But I'll be back on in 2021, trust me. All you have to do is Google Mr Mike Garner on any platform and you'll find me. Let me go and get the milk. We're always making sense, or trying to make sense of the world as we experience it, as we see it, as we feel it. This cup of tea will taste like something. You'll either like it or you won't, and that's based on a decision that you made in the past when your parents or somebody gave you a cup of tea and you either liked it or you didn't, or you learnt to like it or you still don't. It's pretty much like that with everything else. But this cup of tea, this milk, this chopping knife, this porridge, this watch, these crystals, just about anything that you can see in the world of form, in the physical world, have one thing in common. And the one thing that they have in common is they don't exist. Now that's a massive statement, and you've got to get your head around that, and you sort of say, well, what do you mean, Mike? Well, what I mean is that there's nothing solid. There can't be. When I was at school, and I was born in 1957, so in 1967, probably 1965, through to when I left school at 75, because I started work in 1977 for the Automobile Association, became an engineer. They were trying to split the atom, and they did. And they found out when they split it, there was nothing inside. It was just quantum fluctuations They didn't express it in that way in those days because they didn't understand the quantum universe, but they do now, and they've got the Hadron Collider, and we know about the atomic world and the subatomic world and subatomic particles, and now there's watches with televisions on them, and I'm talking to you on an LCD screen, and there's technology now that they never had when I was a child, or maybe when you were a child, because the world has evolved. We understand technology, we understand quantum theory, that there is a wave which creates a particle. What does it mean, a wave creates a particle? It means that there's no difference between a wave and a particle. There's no difference between a vibration and the creation of the material world, the physical, a protein. Now, I don't get too scientific, but you're hearing me because my voice is vibrating. It's being picked up by the microphone, transmitted as data to your machine, and then you've got a speaker, which again is vibration. It's vibrating, and it's being picked up on your eardrums, which again are another vibratory organ within your body as you perceive it to be. It's vibration, 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 data decoding. Send a signal, it decodes as a picture on your screen. That's what the world is. It's a vibration that we decode as a picture on the screen of our minds, the cinema screen of our minds, our imagination. And basically, you've been told what everything is. So the similarity between this milk, that cup of tea, this porridge, and that knife is that none of these things exist. These are just molecules vibrating as a knife. These are molecules vibrating as milk, particles. These are particles, molecules vibrating as tea. And I'm decoding them on the cinema screen of my mind to make a cup of tea because I've been told that's what it is. I've been told what everything is by people, and we have a consensual agreement that that's what it is, and we all go along with that story. At the moment in the world, there's a story out there, a political story with Brexit and different situations in different cultures all over the world. There's stories about wars, stories about famine, stories about global warming, stories about pandemics, stories about drought, fires, all sorts of things. They're all stories. It's been transmitted to us through media devices, and we decode it based on what we think we're being told. There's another view, there's another way of looking at it, but getting away from all that stuff, which creates conflict and indecision and quite often argument and stress. There is a way of viewing the actual world that you experience, like this kitchen, or the house that I live in, or the town that I live in, or the people that I vibrate with, and I can switch off anything that has a negative vibration and I decode in a negative way, or I can change my decision, which I made a long time ago, about politics, about the world, about people. You can change your mind, you can delete your past, you can decode in a different way, you can change your coding. That's what hypnosis does. Hypnosis changes your reality. When I get people on stage doing hypnosis or work with people in therapy and hypnotherapy sessions, I change their mind, I change their perceptions. I tell them things that they accept or not about their life, and they perceive it in a different way. And the minute they start to perceive and decode it in a different way, it feels different, it looks different, it tastes different, it sounds different, it smells different. Because our senses aren't frozen sculptures. We can change our coding, we can reimagine ourselves, and we can reimagine the world. And all we have to do is tell ourselves different stories and listen to different stories and get around different people and understand that this vibratory world is an illusion. And if we decode it in the way that we're being told it is, then some days will be good, but most days will be bad. And a lot of days are bad at the moment because of what we're being told is going on. But if you see it in a different way, by understanding and making new decisions, understanding in a different way, decoding it in a different way, you'll experience it in a different way, and you can start to get through this stuff. You can start to deal with it in a different way. in a more positive way, in a more beneficial way. And although the rest of the world will be decoding it in the way that maybe you did before, or the way that it's being programmed for people to decode, you can see beyond the programming. Start to see beyond the programming. Start to look at the agendas of government who try to control your mentality, govern your mentality, and other people who try to control you and dictate to you and persuade you to assist them, which maybe takes away your power. Claim your power, decode things in your own way, make up your own stories, make your own mind up, undo the past, and you can delete the past and install a better now and a positive new future. And you do it with hypnosis or meditation or mindfulness or whatever process you want to, whatever label you want to put on that process, because they're just labels. Nothing's real in the world of form. Everything is formless, and it comes into form, it becomes a particle from a vibration, a wave, which is a thought. Think differently and you'll experience a different life. You can literally change the world with your thoughts. And I'm a hypnotist, and I've been working with people for over 40 years, as I say, through martial arts, healing arts, and now consciousness and energy. And you can make a new sense of this world, create a new paradigm for yourself, and then share that with other people so that they're blessed as well. It's not religion, it's not dogma, it's metaphysics, it's new science. We're always being told that the government is following the science. Well, so am I. It goes from thought to form, it goes from a vibration to a particle. And the world out there is formless, and we decode it into the solidity. And what are you decoding it as? Are you experiencing heaven or hell? A lot of people are experiencing hell. You can change that, and I'm here to help. You can contact me on any of the contact details where you're viewing this presentation, except Facebook until January. But you can email me at mike@MrMikeGarner.com, or you can put your comments in the comments box below. Be powerful, enjoy your mind. Realise that the way that you experience the world is based on the way you perceive the world, which is based on your decisions in your own mind. Mind your own business, let everybody else have a fearful experience. You have an experience of personal power, positive health, and peace of mind. God bless.